7 o'clock in the morning. We're on our way to New Orleans. Oh my god, we're finally here. 5 people in the car for like 18 hours. Walking out to our first breakfast in New Orleans, and I sound stupid in my accent if I say Nolans, so I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Today's theme is spooky things. Now we're going on a cemetery tour, and later we're going on a ghost tour.
I'm going to assume that where y'all are from, different places here, that y'all are still burying the dead in the ground when your loved ones pass away, right?
Right, yeah.
Here it's a little bit different. Yellow fever made itself known to the French right away, and you know, well, so many so fast would have the need to be buried, right? The French found right away there were 2 major problems they'd be facing. The first one was they started to realize right away that in this area, next to that mighty river, right, and a big lake here 7 miles to the north, and then the Gulf of Mexico south of here 60, 70 miles, you start digging a hole around here. You go 3 or 4 feet down, and it fills up with water every single time. The second problem was the church. The church forbid the use of cremation. Back in 1699, the French had to do something else. They started building these above ground tombs you see around us. As of about 2008, 3 years after Katrina, there were 85 bodies unidentified they still had at the morgue. 85 of them. And so that's when the city said, okay, we're going to use this area that Charity Hospital has here at the Metairie Ridge, and we're going to build a memorial to the people who suffered in Katrina. And we're going to bury these 85 right here. And so that's how this came about. This is Potter's Field. You'd never know it, but there's thousands of Irish buried out there. The ones that couldn't afford the coping graves to the left in St. Patrick #1, they're buried here. I gotta tell you, it gives me a lot of satisfaction to acknowledge these people that are really so important to the building up of the city. Their contribution is immense.
Tonight we're calling this tour Walking the Devil's Empire. The Ursuline nuns will start coming over here during the 1720s, and any time these nuns wrote letters back home to France, they never call this place the Web of the Yons, the Via Carré. They always referred to it as the Devil's Empire. And I thought it was a very fitting name because all the stories I'm about to share with you tonight happen inside the Empire. people. You have to have groups supervising anytime you break ground here in the French Quarter. Archaeologists and excavation crews. Why? Because anytime people dig here in the French Quarter, people dig up skeletal remains from the 1700s and 1800s. We are walking on one big burial ground here. Just a few things this place has been over the years. A boys' school, a girls' school, the Union Army. During the Civil War, after they occupied New Orleans in 1862, the generals of the Union Army will stay here for many months during the Civil War. After that, become a marketplace, furniture store, house, school, hospital. You get the picture, it's always changing hands. And every time it changes hands, more stories of the crazy things people see, hear, and feel come out about this house. Some of the most famous hauntings always include that of Delphine Mallory herself. She is always spotted at different windows, staring down at people as they pass what used to be a home. March 13th, 1919. Our local newspaper received a letter in the mail. Now this letter has a return address. H-E-L-L. Hell, they're like, oh, letter from hell, this is gonna be awesome. Somebody open up and see what this letter from hell says. And they did. It says, Dear Mortals, they have never caught me and they never will. They have never seen me, for I am invisible, even as the ether that surrounds the earth. I'm a spirit and demon from the hottest hell. I'm what your foolish police call the Axeman. And I can murder thousands of people with my axe if I wanted to. But lucky for you, this letter is a warning. Next Tuesday night, on the eve of St. Joseph's, I'm gonna fly over New Orleans and kill with my axe. But I'm very fond of jazz music. I love jazz music a lot. So if your family is jazzing it up and having a good time inside your house next Tuesday night, your life will be spared. But if not, you may get the axe. Found the Axeman. October 26, 1927. Henry gets off of work around 6 p.m. and that's when he comes home to his apartment. We know him and Teresa get in a big fight that night. And after this fight, we know he leaves here crying with the two kids. He'll take the two kids down to Uncle Joe's, who lived about 3 blocks away. We then know Henry goes to Bourbon Street and starts getting drunk. He'll take one break, he'll get more drunk, and come back home around midnight. Nobody's life will ever be the same. The next morning, October 27, 1927, around 8 a.m., Nettie Compass, she shows up to the Motti apartment. Now, side note, Nettie Compass, she worked for the landlord. So this woman would collect rent checks. She would basically check on all the properties that the landlord owned pretty much every other week. So she's banging on the Motti's door, and there's no answer. So she takes her key, she opens it up, and discovers hell on earth. She will scream so loud from that second floor apartment that 2 insurance salesmen walking right here on the sidewalks, they'll hear these screams, they'll rush up to see what the hell's going on, and it's a bloodbath.
Now that we've done all the spookiest stuff you can possibly do, we came to a park to be a little less spooky today, and we're climbing a big old oak tree. decided to get dinner at the French market, and it's making me wish that you could videotape a smell because it smells so spicy and delicious in here.
Which is like for people like me.
Can't say I've ever seen a piano in a bathroom before.
Strut with some barbecue, fried chicken and ham. Oh, I can hear that trombone and that clarinet rhythm section. I wish we had a drummer, buddies across the street with a hot and juicy rib.
Today is the day that I think I'm most excited for on the trip, because we're going to take an extended kayak tour of Manchac Swamp, which is a cypress swamp. So hopefully we're going to be paddling between some really cool trees, and I really, really hope we see a barred owl. kayak tour turned out to be really cool. We paid a bunch of extra money so that we could get the half-day option, so it was like a 4-hour paddle. We went about 6 miles in total through these amazing, beautiful, lush cypress swamps. We saw a barred owl, a bunch of gators, a bunch of egrets, an eagle, an osprey, some kingfishers, some gar. So it was really fun, and the trees were just amazing. I think we're all pretty glad that we paid the extra money to do the longer tour.
Oh, no, you.
Yeah, no.
All right, well, I couldn't deign to take the last one. Oh, well, in that case.
That's yours, Vince. Can I borrow that knife, please?
This is our last day in New Orleans, which is pretty sad, but we do have a fun tour planned today. We're gonna go on an airboat ride. Hopefully we'll see a lot more gators. This time I'll probably be able to take pictures of them if we do. Last time I just had my GoPro because we were in a kayak.
Now, what we're sitting in right now, guys, is called marshland. What this actually is about 15, 20 feet of solid mud, muck, and decaying roots, floating on a pillow of water about 4 foot deep. That is a French term for this stuff right here called flottant, meaning floating land.
The airboat tour ended up being better than we could have possibly even hoped for. We saw so many gators. Our guide was talking about how the gators aren't dangerous, and if you hear about gators biting people, well, that's just a lie. So Vince, of course, says, does that mean we can touch one? And the guide is like, you can do whatever you want, just if you're gonna do it, you gotta commit to it. So we all touched a giant gator. I touched it twice. Since this is our last day in New Orleans, we are gonna go down to Bourbon Street a little early, and see what there is to see. I was so excited for the airboat ride that I dressed like Steve Irwin, which pretty typical actually.